The opalescent and semi-opaque mark that shifts in brilliant hues is the mark of the Weaver. A bond for those who are curious, creative, unrestrained, or thrill-seeking. These people are unpredictable and can be driven to bouts of excessive impulsive behavior. A bond not commonly seen, but commonplace among famed artists and artisans, attention seekers. The opal bound pay no attention to ash bond color. That time could be better spent doing something else. They are seen to make fantastic artists and creatives, and it is said that the only good bard is an opal bard. But there are those who look upon the opal mark as defining a station of lunacy. Welcome to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. These are recorded in advance, so let's try to predict the future. Pretty crazy what that robot did roughly 5 days before this episode aired, isn't it? I mean, very unexpected. Some would call it strange, even. If you like the content, leave a like in the tip jar and subscribe to our weekly tales. Leave a comment in the suggestion box to tell us how well we did or how well we did not. Thank you for listening. And without further ado, it's time to open up shop.
Man, when I saw that robot thing, I was like, that's wild.
Yeah, wasn't that a crazy thing that happened recently within 5 days?
Also, Adrian, you're very lucky that Vincent doesn't exist in real life because them is fighting words. No good bard is not an opal bard.
Vincent exists in the world in which that's true.
Yeah.
I personally do not have an ash bond, so I wouldn't be entirely sure. That is a bias you're going to need to crush.
Meaning that you're going to die very quickly.
I'm very happy that I've had that sandwich that was really tasty. That has definitely happened already in my life.
Was that within 5 days, or is that right now? See, we're already predicting the past. Now we just need to hit the future. Last time, the Deviants, joined by Emir Dillon, the changeling assassin, infiltrated Woodholm, Xiana Stormdottr's personal abode, and steal through the manor invisibly and guided as noble knights of the Amaranthian Standard. As they approach Xiana's room, they lock her Goliath guard out of it and attack, revealing themselves one by one. Xiana gets more and more flustered as the fight turns against her, and she calls out for the guards. Meanwhile, Jojo keeps her grappled as Vincent swipes the torch bloom from her desk and circles around as we jump back in. First thing, Vincent, what is your passive perception?
17? Hold on.
I can actually look. 7 is 15. As you round yourself into this corner, you swipe the torch bloom, and in your passing gaze, you note that there is a small kind of like copper tube that comes down and rests just next to this sitting chair over here. Looking at it, it's got a little copper flap on it and carries itself through. This is likely how she calls out to her servants to let them know that she wants something. As you glance around the room, you see a few more of these. Excuse me. There is one right here next to her bed. And there is one on the other side of Jojo near the door, right next to this table. These seem to be points of interest to you, because she could absolutely call for backup at these. But as you find yourself in front of one, that's a little bit of information that you glean. And as we cycle back into this intense fight, Vincent, you just ended your turn, yes?
Yes.
Killian, you are up.
All right. I know there's like a bunch of couches and stuff, but is this like actually difficult terrain, or like how does one maneuver through this area?
You can move through, it's just difficult terrain. Nothing here would actually physically block your movement except for this retaining wall here.
My favorite terrain is furniture.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna run over here, just kind of slide past some of the couches and whatnot. I need to be able to select my character. There we go. I'm going to my fingers are still like red hot from the absorb elements that I had used. One hand's gonna just like grab her belt, and the other is going to pull a dagger out and just shank it right into her side.
The knees!
Oof.
Spleen, liver, whatever. I'm just going for. Just, yeah. So yeah.
You're in a goblin.
Exactly. I think Jojo. Sorry, go ahead.
Just stop! As you run forward, just leaping off the couch.
Beside herself, like Killian doesn't really notice, but Jojo, you see that there's like a very different like demeanor on Killian's face as she's doing this. She's just like kind of like a weird little like impish grin.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, let me target her. Dagger.
Get him, our little gobby girl.
Ooh, does a 14 hit?
14 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right, I'm gonna use Fury of the Small on this as well.
Yes.
Okay, so normal roll, and then Fury of the Small is an additional just flat number, an extra 4 damage, and then I also need to roll the d6 of fire damage. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, so a total, assuming she doesn't resist any particular part of this, of 11 damage.
Ooh. As you bring this blade in, and it just wreaths itself briefly. You just bring it down and just manage to find purchase in the side of her body. She avoids most of the blow, trying to just fight back, but you just gash open a bit of her side, and you can see just this open wound down now across her abdomen as she just leans back, and it's just like, fucking goblins and orcs in my home.
I don't think I need to even insight that to know that she doesn't like them.
Seems like she's a little bit of a racist. You incite this with your passive insight, Vincent. Other people
Thank
might
you.
be like, maybe she's just frustrated, but you got it right there. Which is, I joke, but that's genuinely, like, yeah.
Yep.
You got fucking mad passive insight. So, Killian, is that the end of your turn?
That is the end of my turn. I don't think I have a bonus action that I could use meaningfully here, so I'm just going to stand there.
Alrighty. The Goliath warrior goes, as if, and throws the weapon down to the ground as Vincent commands him to do so. As it just clatters to the ground, you see him look down, he's like, what? Spends his action, unclasps his cloak that falls down, hits the ground. What are you doing? And he looks towards the mirror, and she's like, fucking look at me. Do I look like I'm not the magic type? And she goes in to stab him again. He just kind of like sitting there, they're ducking and weaving, exchanging brief blows. And that is his whole turn. Matilda, you're up.
All right, I am going to heal myself, cause owie. I'm going to use. Oh, I have to target myself, and then I'm gonna do. I did 3 last time, so I'm gonna do 2 this time. So sorry, guys. Your glass cannon's out of heals.
Glass Cannon spends a lot of the time healing herself.
It's very on brand for my character. How much was that? That was
Sure.
8 healing damage. Okay.
Nice, you suffer 8 healing.
Yes. Cool. And then I am going to get up from prone. I will stand on the bed. And then I am going to Eldritch Blast. Oh.
I just imagined like in the middle of this fight, like a little girl is like jumping on the bed. Yeah.
No
Why do I
more
have this- why
Matthews
do I
jumping
have-
on the bed.
Why
It's
do we have
because you're
this in-
still prone.
Oh, can you get me up from prone, Adrian? I'm standing on the bed now.
I can.
And then... Does a 23 hit?
23 hits. Go ahead and roll damage. I like you're laying on the bed, just got blasted back, and it's like, oh, healing light floods you. You stand, and you're just like, shoot this crackling eldritch beam. It's just like, what are you?
And then I hop down and I duck. Like, I'll crouch a little bit behind the back of the bed and do I know you probably can't because my turn's over, but I'm like really curious as to what all these papers look like. I'm just like,
But yeah, you
What do I
shuffle
see?
over and you begin to take a look. What is your passive perception? 13. Glancing over it, it doesn't. There are research notes here, as far as you can tell, just at a immediate glance. But a lot of these seem to be like missives and notices. There even seem to be like a couple small books that are offset to the side. And you also take note of like large casks of wine and 5 or 6 open glasses that are half finished.
oh.
There's like alembics and alchemical, various different mixtures off to the side as well. And as you begin to scour over it, it is Sheena's turn. She says, "You don't fucking learn!" Both of you roll strength saving throw again.
Hey,
Oh, sorry.
she took 12 force damage. Did she look that up, or?
Let me make sure I actually added that properly. Yes, I did. Wait. She should be at that. Yes, okay, I did give her the damage. She does not look bad off.
Okay.
Jojo, you managed to remain standing once more. Killian, you get blasted back 10 feet. You kind of just, actually it's 15 feet. So you get blasted back, slam into the back of this couch, and then you roll over it, landing on the other side behind Amir. You bump into her, and she's like, "What the? Stop it!"
Sorry.
Keeps that grip tight. She just like chuckles a little bit at the blast, and she says, "You don't learn."
You're a waste of good talent.
Whoa.
She takes her bow staff and then fucking tries to smash you in the head.
I feel like
How much damage
Vincent's
did I take?
passive insight detects that Xiana likes beefy people.
You're very rude.
How much damage do I take from the force?
That is... you take, once again, 6 points, and Killian, you take 12 points of force damage. But you manage to hold your own, holding her in place, and she smirks with a smile and just says, new plan. She goes to bonk you in the head with the stick, but instead... No, actually, she bonks you in the head with the stick.
I don't know what that con save was for. Oh, is it still for invisibility?
You
Yeah,
don't need that anymore.
I don't need that.
Oh, you know, I was incorrect here, actually. She looks forward, goes to smash you in the head with a stick, which you don't flinch, you just stare forward towards her, and she's like, fine. The top of the bow staff glimmers ever so slightly, the quarterstaff rather, and then you see her entire body become inset with this almost glass-like fractal shield that solidifies and fades ever so slightly into this just faint shimmering armor. And that is her turn.
That's Armor of Agathis, right?
No, Armor of Agathis is like a frost.
Probably more
Okay.
like the mage armor.
Or-
Covered
she-
in this just faint shimmering glass shield now. Emir looks towards the Goliath and is just like, nope, I'm not really the magic type, and goes in for a stab.
Pew pew! Get him! Why is Amir prone?
Now
Yeah,
here's
I
what
was
she does. She was knocked back before, but she stood up. I can go
Yeah.
ahead and take that off her. Here's what she does. She moves over here, cycles behind you, Killian, circling around, and the Goliath is just like, wait, and goes for a reaction punch.
I guess it's just his turn.
Yeah, he still has his reactions, actually before and after. Does actually manage to clock Amir in the back of the head, and she kind of just like jerks forward briefly. She takes a fair bit of damage. Just head reamed off to the side. She circles around, looks at you, Killian. It's just like, don't fight this. Grabs you by the shoulders, lifts you up, and with a foot kicks you towards the Goliath. So you land in front. She then circles over here and goes for a stab.
She wanted sneak attack.
So she shoved you, and with her,
No offense.
with,
If I threw a goblin at someone, I think they'd be slightly distracted.
they're a little distracted. As you fly forward, she sneaks off to the side and goes in for a stab. He does have an additional +2 to his AC, but it does not matter as she manages to stab directly into his, like, directly between the bones of the leg, and just rakes down until she can hear bone, and then pulls back. The blood begins to gush out from the Goliath's leg, and he takes quite a bit of damage.
Nice.
When she said don't fight this, I thought she was referring to the Goliath. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, no duh. And then just
As you look at the Goliath, as the just leg is now impaled, torn down, like having difficulty standing, the Goliath looks towards the both of you and just begins to just seethe with rage in his eyes. And Amir's just like, good job, takes a step back.
Oh, of course she takes a step back.
Jojo, you're up.
Jojo is going to, seeing that armor go like glitter across her, with one hand like very firmly like clutching onto her like the collar of her shirt. The other hand's gonna take out her shark tooth sword and then just like swipe it across her front. And try and get her with her shark tooth sword.
Dab.
I don't know why my shark tooth sword is not letting me attack. Or is it? Oh, it is. Ha! Do I? It's pulling the advantage for some reason. Is it because she's grappled?
It's because you have invisibility up still.
Oh.
You shouldn't, I don't think. Oh, it's a separate effect. Let me delete that.
If you
There you
just
go.
hit
Normal.
advantage, you can just choose normal.
Now you won't be invisible when
Normal.
you're attacking.
15?
15 does not hit. Slam against the shield and just bounces back.
I don't think I have anything as a bonus action. So I'm going to drag her somewhere.
She is contesting this, so it will just be like you're basically fighting against her. So we'll do another grapple check. It won't fail if she succeeds. Like she'll still be grappled, but she's just making it very difficult for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So athletic?
Yes. Okay, she might succeed this.
Okay.
As you try and pull her, she remains rooted in place, but then as you begin to pull her backwards.
I'm pushing her closer to like over here.
Okay, she remains rooted in place,
Oh, okay.
managing to hold her own against your strength.
So I can't move with her then? Okay.
Not a current. She's contesting you. Yeah.
Okay. That's,
Is that the end of your turn?
I guess so. I thought you can move with a grapple. Okay, never mind.
Vincent, you're up.
Okay. Kind of looking around the room a bit more. He doesn't see any other points of interest, just passively. I don't want to use my action for this. Like, because you said that the little, like here and here there was, and here there was the thingies she could shove down.
Yeah, there's these copper tubes.
Okay. Vincent will look over towards her. He'll take a step forward to here. It'd be a lot easier if you just played along a little better, dearie. But I wouldn't expect anything else from you. And I need her to make a wisdom saving throw, because he's trying to get under her skin. Dissonant whispers.
If you roll damage, it'll prompt the save. Thank you.
Mhm.
It succeeds.
Okay, she still takes half. She takes 4 or 5. I don't know.
4 points of damage.
I keep that much.
She looks over towards you for a second, and she doesn't seem to like have any immediate recognition in her face. But as she's listening into the conversation and kind of paying attention to what's been going on, she's like, ha 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 ha. I get it now. I see. She looks back over towards the guard. She's like, Emir, isn't it? And you must be Vincent. Nice to officially meet you before you die.
He just gives her a bow. And what is this thing?
Stairs.
Oh, it's a little stairs down. Okay, then. Okay. He'll just kind of turn around like he is no longer interested. Go stand back here in the corner.
Okay, at the end of your turn, Killian, you were up.
Oh, nice. For some reason, I thought that this guy went before I did, but I guess not.
He lost his whole turn.
Right.
I told him to drop his stuff.
I'm not prone anymore, right? I got pulled up by Emir.
Well, she
Or did
kicked
I
you
get-
forward.
I get like kicked forward and then splayed out on the ground. Okay.
It was a
so-
shove, so you'd still be prone, I think.
Okay. Well, you know what? Kellyanne kind of like looks at Amir like you could have just asked, and is just going to take the dodge action in front of this big guy.
You basically were playing like Goblin Shuffleboard and she like threw you in place.
Actually, the weapon that he dropped, does it look magical?
It does not. It just looks incredibly vicious.
Owie.
Okay.
Could you
Well-
grab it?
Yeah, nonetheless, I'll grab it. So it's in my hands. I'm just like barely even picking it up. I'm just like,
You put that down.
make me.
I will.
Well, then let's see you try. Yeah, dodge action. And then, yeah, that's it. It's my turn.
Are you, you stood up, right?
Sorry, yes, I'm standing up.
Okay.
That's
perfect.
half my movement. I'm back up.
The Goliath turns towards you. I will. And goes in for not two great axes, just two normal ass punches. Actually, I think the Goliath reaches up, grabs onto the lantern at the side, and just kind of pulls it off the side of the wall and tries to smash you over the top of the head with it.
Yeah.
Disadvantage. Killian took the dodge action.
Yes. So let me think here. Actually, I can apply dodge too, so that will also be automated. This game's so fun. Did you guys know about this game? It's pretty fun. So,
I just found out about it.
really?
That's
We've been playing
pretty
for
new,
years.
Adrian.
Yeah.
It's my first time playing today.
Really? You're doing
Yeah.
well. As the lantern comes down, I can't find the dodge thing. It slams into the top of your head and just shatters metal and glass off to the side. With the improvised action he takes, it just spatters this oil and just flame over top of you and begins to burn away at the top of your head. You take 4
So
points.
sorry, so that was a hit?
It was a hit, yes.
Can I cast shield as a reaction?
You absolutely can. Go ahead, and that's an additional +5.
That's
Smashes against the top of your head. The flame roars around you and flitters out, and as he's just like, now give me that back, and looks towards you, it just harmlessly dances off the side of your shield, and the oil just flitters to the ground, igniting the ground ever so slightly in this flame. You take no damage. They are going to... That's pretty much their entire turn. What can you do, my guy? He begins to just flex his fingers, and you can almost hear the sound of stone grating against stone as he just slams his hand against the side of the door, and it just impacts. The side of the frame just crumples inwards under the weight of his hit. Matilda, you are up.
Okay, I don't know how to reset my one spell slot when I did that thing, because I should only have one used right now.
In your, if you
can
go
give
to
you
your
one more.
inventory, you should be able to just bring it from
Okay, thank you.
1 back to 2.
And then I want, as my bonus action, I'm gonna move here. Then I'm going to cast a spell. I'm gonna hex her.
Which ability modifier? Or ability score?
If you want advice, you've been seeing that JoJo's been grappling her this whole time, so Dex is probably the one she's been using to try and get away.
Okay, I'll do that then. Dex bud, thank you for the advice. And then I'm going to Eldritch Blast her.
You got
Okay,
a Dex
come on.
hex.
Okay, come on. I hope it goes through. Stupid shield.
That side of the battle is just luminescent fucking rave central. She is glowing. She has a glass shield. The lights are flickering off of it. Rainbow everywhere. Now this necrotic energy settles around her.
Oh no!
Oh, now one.
Oh no.
Oh.
Oh, roll a d20. I want to see whether this is favorable or bad.
Oh.
It reflects off all of the bubbles in her shield.
Bad.
That is bad. So here's what I will say. That flies forward, hits against her glass shield and flickers off to the side, slamming against the side of the wall and just dispersing the energy in JoJo's face, mildly just perturbing you.
Oh.
You will have disadvantage on your next action on your turn, JoJo.
Sorry. That ends my turn. Can, as an item interaction, can I just like sweep all of her papers into my bag?
You want to sweep the desk?
Yeah. That's like,
Roll a fate dice. I want to see how many of these go into the bag. Because your
I was like,
messenger
your
bag's
little
kind of small.
messenger
Roll
bag
the one, you just slap their papers across the room.
This
All
is
of the
sir.
half shots of All the half-drinking cups just go everywhere.
Yeah,
I picture,
all over
it's
the
just
research.
papers in the air.
Either way, it's annoying.
Favorable. You pop it open, you put it down, you sweep it in. You also note that you grabbed a fine-looking ivory-handled pistol
Woo!
that was
Cool.
sitting on top of her notes. And you just kind of scoop these. You get like 3 or 4 scrolls and a few books. You can just put that in your inventory as Xiana's research notes.
Okay.
I just noticed that there's swords over here.
There's a small armory of what seems like ceremonial weaponry. Now Xiana's turn. Xiana smiles. She takes her amulet that has been like emitting this force blast, and she throws it at you. As soon as it hits the side of your chest, it erupts. You are safe, and she immediately fails the check, flying 15 feet back from you and breaking the grapple. As she lands on the ground over here prone, she looks up towards you, Vincent,
You wanted
raises
to
her
grapple
finger.
before me. You should have just asked.
Credit where credit's due. That was pretty fucking good. And then she points her finger towards you. I need you to roll. A wisdom saving throw.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Do I get to keep this necklace of force thing now? Did I catch it?
Roll dex.
13.
13. You feel your entire body from the bottom up just begin to rack with this just immense pain as your head spikes and this just brief moment tears into your psyche. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks, and you take 14 points of psychic damage.
Ooh, I thought
She
she
is now
cast harm.
concentrating.
Vincent, you
That's
see,
way too high level.
she's just like, she says her line, and then this goes to, Vincent's going to try and just like steal his resolve and try. It hurts like fuck. He's not going to deny that, but he's not trying to show her that it hurts.
Jojo, it hit your chest, and you were just too distracted.
Mm-hmm.
I will say though that despite the fail already, this was the thing you had disadvantage on, because it was basically the next thing that happened.
Oh, okay.
So Matilda, your
Better
thing
roll
goes off. That is done. No, your 5 is
Okay.
fail. Actually, yeah, roll again to see if you accidentally step on it with a 1.
Oh!
And I blow myself up.
Again.
Oh my god.
It's just at my feet though, right? Like I can pick it up on my turn.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just on the ground in front of you. Xiana points towards you, Vincent, and you feel this pain rack through your body. Emir's turn. Emir looks towards killing and is just like, you seem to have got this. Runs over, jumps off the bed, and comes towards Xiana.
Oh my gosh, Amir.
Xiana is prone on the ground, so Emir is going to run
An
forward and take a
advantage,
good
and
old
she has
stabby
stab.
stab.
Does it seem like Xiana's concentrating on something with that?
Xiana does. She's been like muttering some kind of cipher underneath her breath. Emir runs forward, plants the dagger down, bounces back against the immediate effects of her shield, and you see Emir go begin to just hit with a wave of lethargy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Jojo, you were up.
Okay. She got advantage for that roll too, right?
She did, yes. It's
Okay.
automatic advantage.
Jojo's gonna pick up that horse necklace, and just sort of pocket it, and then she's going to,
Taking this.
run forward and attack with her shark tooth
Curb
sword.
stop! Douche.
Yeah, I'm gonna curb stomp with my sword.
Yes.
You put the sword underneath the flat of your foot and just step down.
Oh.
Like a kid
Oh.
trying to jump onto a sick skateboard.
23 to hit.
Oh my goodness, 23 hits. Go ahead and roll damage. She's like laying there feeling confident as people are just stabbing down towards this shield. You bring your shark tooth sword down and immediately just right through it.
Is that including my rage bonus? I think it is, right?
Plus
Also,
4, plus 2.
Adrian.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking she cast the shield spell. I was like, that would have ended on her turn, but she's mage armor. Okay.
Mage armor, yeah. So.
Okay. Yes, that
Actually,
is 7 piercing damage.
let me check something. 7 piercing damage. Okay. You suffers that full amount of piercing damage. And still not bloody. As you pierce directly through her shield and down into her chest, she like tries to grab onto the blade, but your strength just forces it down.
These shark teeth just like dig in and rip through her skin.
Ugh.
Yeah, just like they're just ragged,
Yikes.
like unclean cuts, and you're just like, are those clean teeth?
The answer is no. It's full of
Not anymore.
gingivitis.
Yeah, they're full of cavities.
Oh, jeez. That makes this attack worse. Cavities and teeth would hurt significantly more. Constitution saving throw for Xiana.
Oh.
No, Vincent, you are no longer under the effect of this heinous pain.
Yay! Awesome. One other thing I wanted to do, I want to drink some shitty ale.
Oh, that's fucking metal.
Yeah.
You pull out just a flask and start chugging.
How much was that?
Matilda's like, poor thing. She's
It's
very
the
technical.
equivalent of a greater healing potion, so it's 44 plus 4.
There's
minimum
just
10.
there's so much hot women doing hot shit around me. I sometimes wish Matilda wasn't so
Federal.
not interested. Because me, who's Jaegering her, she's like, oh yes.
There is medium, so you'd need 2, 4, 6, 8. 12 is the medium.
No, it's 4, 8, 12, 16, plus 4 is 20, so half is 10.
Oh yeah, because that's how you do it. Yeah.
Federal hat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep, and that's my turn.
Vincent, you're up.
Vincent's just gonna look down at her. Well, I think I'm gonna need to freshen up if we're gonna continue with this. He'll pop into his bag and pull out his side and pull out the greater healing potion and chug it. 14 healings.
You heal 14 heals. As you drink this, you pop open this bubbly red potion and it begins to lift off with this faint bit of steam. You drink it down, it's fizzy and a little bit burny. And as it pours through you, you feel those wounds begin to close. That just pounding headache begins to subside.
But you, my dear, and Vincent's will take out his rapier in his other hand and kind of plant it into her leg and press it down. Does she look bloodied yet or no?
No.
Okay. He'll press a little harder then. Just debating. I think it's about time you stayed in this position. He will attack her. It's advantage. Not 20.
Nice.
Oh,
Oh, nice.
no, that's the good number.
So
Go ahead and
when
roll
he
damage.
puts it into her leg, he's gonna drag it upwards
Ugh.
across her hamstring, so she.
That's
she's
so
gonna
hard
have
with the
trouble walking.
rapier.
No,
A ra-
it's one of those actual it's a slash.
Yeah,
rapier,
it's not a
a
fencing
Oh, okay.
rapier. They're like pirate rapiers,
Okay, cool.
dual bladed. Jeez, yeah. Emir looks at you and is just like, "Nice move, very original."
15 points of
Oof.
piercing. I don't know if you care whether or not the mechanics change, but it's piercing damage.
No, it's totally fine. You stab it down and you just begin to rake backwards as she's just just calling out aggressively. She looks over towards that just little thing that's just 5 feet away from her. That little copper tube that is her safety.
Is there any way Vincent notices this, right? She's probably just like staring at it.
Yeah, she glances up towards it immediately. It seems like she's almost planning something.
Yeah, he'll look over towards it and look back at her. So you're gonna have to try much harder than that. But I do like it when you call out. As an item interaction, can you grab something and like put it in front of that to make it harder for her to get to?
There is a lit candle next to you. If you grab the wax and like jam it in, you could probably plug this up, but it is a lit candle. So you might take a little bit of fire damage.
That's fine. Vincent's good with fire.
All right.
Vincent
you're-
doesn't have like one of those mufflers that they use for like trumpet.
You see,
No, he doesn't
you see a
have one of
trumpet
those.
muffler next to you. But actually, when you put it in, it's one of those things that makes your exhaust incredibly loud and annoying. No, you grab the the candle, and you bring it up, and you just kind of like mash it into the side and close the top. As the wax begins to just leak out and begins to cool on the inside, you take, I just call this a very simple D4. You take 2 halved to 1 point of fire damage.
You can see as Vincent pulls it away, he'll just look at his finger and kind of like peel the wax off like it's not a big deal.
Sick. Is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Cool. Killian, you're up.
All right. So Killian, still one hand holding onto this heavy weapon that there's no fucking way she can actually use. She's going to go from her like a back sheath, pull out the Enthean Knight longsword, and take a stab at the guy.
Oh, come on, Killian.
Yeah.
So Killian has the loud sword.
It's only loud if you don't hit people.
Yeah.
Loud is really a relative term. You know?
We're not being quiet, really, anyways.
It's objects. So you got to hit an object. I will.
I've just been quiet this whole time. Just kidding.
You've all been very quiet. I'm very proud of you.
Ooh, 15.
15.
I got
15 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
Oh shit! Yes.
You
They did not seem to
Yeah!
expect anything.
10 damage.
10 damage. Triple kill. As you bring the blade forward, stabbing into the into the Goliath's chest. He looks down towards the blade and grabs it with his hand and just attempts to crush the blade in his hand. He's currently just like holding onto it. It's not his turn, so he can't mechanically do anything.
Yeah.
But that seems to be
Very
his
hard
intention.
to crush.
He's gonna have a bad time with that Enthean Knight longsword. Like he can't be harmed by non-magical means or whatever it is in that block. But yeah, let's do it. That is my action. I don't really have a meaningful bonus, so that's me.
Alrighty. The Goliath is going to spend his turn holding on to the blade, attempting to crush it in his hand. Nope. He grabs the weapon and like just slowly begins to pull it out of his chest, but then quickly jams it in as far as he can and goes to knee you in the chest to try and dislodge the weapon from your hand. This is a disarm, so this is athletics versus your athletics. Actually, it's an attack roll versus your athletics.
Okay.
Like the sword is
And I can't
part of
replace
now.
it with acrobatics, I take it.
No, this one is just athletics.
All right. It's got me there.
Let me actually check. It might be both.
Okay.
I feel like it's both, but yeah.
Well, I'll roll the athletics, and then if it is acrobatics, I'll just add a +5.
Oh, it's actually a strength saving throw. I was incorrect.
My athletics and strength saving throw are the same, if that matters.
Okay, so I will make my attack roll. You let go of the blade as this knee hits your chest, and you land on the ground, kind of just sputtering for a second as he slowly takes the blade out, flips it around, and holds it in one hand. It's going to use its other attack action to swipe down at you.
That's the problem with those not being attunement, huh?
Fine.
Enthean Knight's longsword.
Yeah, no, those don't
Fuck
require
them.
attunement, so.
You add that into this character sheet.
Did you hear the voice?
Maybe.
You don't see anything on their face as they take another swing down towards you. That is an 18 to hit.
That is my AC.
Okay. That is correct. As the blade swings down, you just barely try and dodge it, but it manages to catch the side of you. And that will be... a grand total of 5 points of slashing damage as you manage to dodge out a glancing blow across your chest. And then the Goliath... Xiana, survive! Turns and begins to run. You hear the
I'm
door.
trying to get help. Can you take an attack of opportunity? I guess you're disarmed.
You don't. You have the other awkward weapon in your offhand, though.
Yeah, that's right.
Can you attack of opportunity with a weapon in your offhand? Is my question. You can. You just don't. I'll say you can. You just can't add your bonuses to it.
Okay. Well, so here's what I was going to do. Is if he turns tail to run, what I want to do is just like, because I have like the hafted hammer like this, I want to try to like kick the head out across the ground to just trip him up. Not actually take a swing to damage him, but like try to shove him.
Trip, yeah.
I'll say this. I like things like that. If there's no mechanical way to accomplish that, what are you going to pay me? How are you going to make this thing work? For example, like if you were like, I burn a spell slot to enchant my foot with a little bit of force and kick so it just flies out aggressively. Or if you're like, I'll sacrifice health and I will kick hard with my bare foot to hit it. I like these kind of like additional things, but if the mechanics can't back it, then I need just that little bit more on top.
I'm down to sack some health.
Okay,
Just like-
I will say
Yeah.
roll a d8 plus your strength, and that will be how much damage you take. And
Ooh.
then
Ooh, a lot.
they are going to roll athletics or acrobatics to try and not get tripped by this.
Yay!
One
One
Nice.
damage. Amazing. Now
Nice.
they're
I could've been
going
a
to roll
lot.
athletics.
Well, it could have been 7, I guess.
Sorry, and now I roll athletics?
No, they are going to roll athletics.
Oh, okay. I see.
Roll bad.
That was a natural 1.
Haha!
Ooh.
They
Bad
go
one.
prone 5 feet away as you slam this into their foot, and it just like rakes up against the already open wound, and they trip, slamming into the ground in front.
Nice.
They are prone. You tricky bastards. That is the Goliath's turn. Matilda, you are up.
Okay, seeing that they're trying to run away and that looks like not good. 1, 2, so that's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then Matilda's gonna look right at them and be like, it's rude to leave a party early. And I'm gonna Eldritch Blast them.
You will have disadvantage because they are prone.
Oh, rude. Okay, whatever. I hate that rule. It's so stupid.
Sacred Flame, right? That's a dex save.
Oh, you're doing Sacred Flame?
It might work a little better.
No, she used
Yeah, I can do Sacred Flame. I will Sacred Flame him.
All right. So it also has. Yes, it does not have any additional negatives to dex saves with prone. So,
Roll bad.
what is your spell save DC? It is currently
15.
erupts around him on the ground, and he is just surrounded by flames as it dissipates. Roll damage.
It was
Okay.
2 radiant, but you also
2
get
radiant?
hex damage. So roll that.
I get
This
what
one's
then?
not hexed.
She's
Xiana's
Oh
hexed.
yeah, sorry, Xiana's hexed.
Oh,
Uh,
man.
The flame erupts around them and then dissipates as they still continue to stand, heinously bloodied, attempting to move and gain help.
And that's the end of my turn. I don't think there's anything else I can do. Hold on. No. Nope. Okay, that's it.
I like the fax noise. Anything else I can do? Xiana. Well, you're all conveniently clumped together, aren't you? Zoom. Shoots up a nice bead up towards the sky. Let me see if you guys are... Can I hit Killian with this?
Fireball, I don't think they're close enough. 20-foot radius.
You are right. It is 20. They are not
Yeah.
close enough.
Fireball's not that big.
Ah, thank God.
Blast! Blast it all to hell. I wanted to blow you up, but I can't. The 3 of you roll a dexterity saving throw, please, and thank you.
Okay, dokie.
Does she have to roll a
Mine-
dex on her own spell?
No,
No, it flies
she's got
forward
that
and just
sculpting.
She
spins
is
around her.
sculpting.
Yeah, my thing just gives bonus to AC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the dex save.
You good?
19.
Yeah.
Jojo, you save. Vincent, as the fire rips in front of you and explodes in your face, you also manage to avoid a good brunt of the damage. Emir stands for a brief moment, like
Motivation.
looking down towards her body. You can see this like wave of lethargy hits her, and as the flames begin to dance, she backflips, plants her hands in the ground, flips backwards, and just kind of does this one motion as the flame just dances around her. No damage whatsoever.
She's so
Evasion.
hot. Oh.
Nice.
As the two of you take 16 points of fire damage.
What's half of that?
8. Die, die, die. Please die. Please die. Please die.
You see Vincent's, like, the skin on his body starts to smolder, and then smoke leaves his mouth again. Not really going to work, dear.
Stop, 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 stop. I give up. Fuck, I give up. Raises her hand. Still prone on the ground.
I would say, I guess the Goliath's still in combat, so.
I think at this point she actually slowly stands up.
Oh, we're still in initiative rolls. So.
We are. Emir looks towards her and looks towards the rest of you. Do you all agree to attempt to end this combat?
I was just going to try and, we still need to knock her out. So.
Unless she comes willingly? But that,
No, I don't
that's
trust
more
it for
difficult.
shit.
Okay.
Unless this Goliath stops running away, Matilda's is chasing them down to kill them at this point.
Okay. On Emir's turn, she looks towards Xiana and says,
Can they go in willingly?
no. I'm afraid not. And she goes for a non-lethal strike.
He does have sneak attack, but not advantage.
Actually, Emir's going to look at her and say, drop your spells and we'll talk. And she's going to roll deception.
Deception. Very good girl. What I was gonna do.
Versus insight. The mage armor fades.
Oh.
Emir nods. Activates the bottom of that dagger she's holding and goes for a fucking just bonk right to the back of the head. Alright. Come on, come on, come on, come on. 22 hits. Let's add sneak attack to that. Oh my god. Slammed in the back of the head. You see Xiana
She's still up.
standing, just feigning, like just moving back and forth with her eyes glazed over, barely consciousness, still standing. And Amir's just like, Jojo, finish it.
Jojo whips out her trusty dueling hatchet that she uses most of the time. I think she's only ever used it to knock people unconscious.
Dueling hatchet.
It's a dueling hatchet.
Wow.
No, it's so close to a natural 20 for me.
Literally, like she's wavering, and you go in for a really big swing to make sure she gets knocked out. She falls forward, and your swing flips around the back of her.
Anyone can two-hand fight, right? Two-weapon fighting, they just can't use their bonuses for it.
Do you have a weapon in your offhand?
I have my shark tooth sword.
Yes. You is it light? I believe it is.
Yes, yeah, it is.
Yes. You absolutely can. You just don't add your bonuses.
Okay.
Well,
Meaning just to the damage, I don't add my bonus, right?
yes.
Correct.
Oh my god! What the fuck?
Second swing comes in. She just kind of moves forward that little bit more, and you're just like, oh, good, a nice hit to the back of the head. And Xiana staggers off to the side and just swings down, and Amir just looks at you, just like,
They're just like, bullshit, Vincent.
Just
Vince is
full
just
on-
standing there being like,
This is bullshit.
and he'll take.
He, like,
his dagger
swats
out
some
and,
bubbles
slam
out
her
of
in the
her
back
way.
of the head as well.
Jojo's like swatting the bubbles angrily out of her way, blaming them for her missing.
The bubbles are like, and begin to move in towards you.
Oh, they laugh at me.
Vincent, you're
That's
up.
canon. I love that.
Chaos magic. Vincent, you grab your dagger and go in for the hit. 19 hits.
19.
Here's what I'll say. She has 1 hit point. So lethal or non-lethal?
It's non-lethal. Like
Okay.
Vincent like saw this like literal like slap like knee slapping comedian act going on here, and at the end of it, you go to turn to him to be like, Vincent, come on, and he's already just got the dagger out and just like whacked her across the head.
In the back of the head,
Well-
head kind of jars forward, and she just slams into the ground.
And then he'll look towards Amir.
I imagine Xiana's like last thing she sees just like a blurry vision, and these like laughing bubbles converge on her head as she passes out.
And as she hits the ground, kind of just looks over towards for 1 second. Falls unconscious. Just viciously hurt, like bleeding from various different places.
Jojo, put the mask on him. Say it quietly.
We sure we're gonna be able to get it off quietly?
You took it off the other day, didn't you, with the remove? It doesn't matter at this point. I don't care if she stays like that for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I paid 500 gold.
I'll buy you a new one, but I
Fine.
don't wanna stay
She
here
takes
for
out
a
the
minute.
mask and puts it on
God's
Xiana.
gonna come.
Shifts Xiana. Nothing happens.
Oh.
You put the mask on her. And then you, Jojo, for a brief moment here, you just feel this like pang in the back of your head, almost like a request. Like there is something that is desired of this mask.
Okay.
Something that is desired from me right now?
Yes. You can go ahead and roll insight. And do you have proficiency in Arcana? You do, yes.
I do.
You may roll with advantage.
Shit.
6. You cannot discern what it is this mask is asking of you right now.
Is the mask gone though? Can I take it back? Or
It's just sitting on her face right now, yeah. And you lift
Yeah.
it up.
she'll take it back. It's not working. There's something I need to figure something out about that.
Interesting. And he'll look over to the door to check with the Goliath. Because I just want to make sure we're still in turn order or what's going on.
You are, yes.
I'll wait.
Killian,
We'll do invisibility, I say to Jojo after.
finish him.
And Killian, it is your turn as Matilda utters these terrifying and inspirational words.
Killian goes back into her back pocket, her pouch, flicks out the hand crossbow, which magically has been infused to have just a crossbow bolt appear as it's equipped. And it's just a flat roll, I think, because I'm within 5 feet and he's prone.
Yes,
And
advantage.
it's a ranged attack.
You have 2 sources of disadvantage, but 1 advantage, so they cancel fully.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Single attack.
It says disadvantage, but you can click it and just choose normal. I'll say this. As you point your crossbow down, he says, I will be damned if I am going to die here before I avenge my brother. I will not let my father's reign continue. And then you loose your bolt. 14 hits.
Hits.
It hits.
Alright.
Do you choose lethal or non-lethal damage with this? Because as you loose this bolt, there is no world in which this guy does not go down.
Do I even get to choose non-lethal for a ranged attack?
Oh, you don't. It's melee weapon only. You're absolutely right. You aim
I
the
am just
crossbow
like
down.
I'm just aiming at like his chest. I'm not aiming for like a head piece. If that makes any difference, but
It flies in. Looks over towards Matilda.
How unfortunate.
Heal me.
Why does he? I guess dying, you don't know what else to do when you're dying.
Killian.
Yeah.
Anything with the rest of your turn?
I can't drag this guy in. Can I?
He's only considered medium. You can move him.
Okay. Does he still have my sword in his hand? Or does he like drop it when he goes down?
It's still basically like just on him, but his hand's open. The sword is laying there.
Okay, I'm just gonna free interaction, grab the sword, and then try to drag him in if I can do all those things. But
with your attack, you can grab the sword, but he's currently still there.
Tossing the sword and like tossing it on his chest, and then dragging him in.
We're kind of out of combat now. We don't really have any, at least on this.
There's still a potential risk.
Still things happening, yeah.
You don't know if anything's going on downstairs. But I would say it would take your action to attempt to move this creature. But as you like reach down, you grab his legs, you put the sword on top of him, and you begin to pull, and that was the end of your turn. The Goliath warrior, I'm going to roll death save.
You mean Valder? Kidding.
Yeah, it's Valder, guys.
Made
okay.
it all the way here.
Matilda, you are up.
As I'm pulling him back in, I do turn to you, Matilda. I'm like, he's an asshole, but we might be able to get a favor out of him later if we do actually just leave him alive. I'm not saying wake him up, but maybe just close the wound and just like pulling him into the room.
His last dying wish was for me to heal him, so I'm feeling generous today. And but as I say that, I'm dipping my fingers in the blood that I assume that's on the floor. And for my action, I'm gonna write "Enemies of the Fury, be worried," and I'm gonna draw the cult symbol.
Yes.
To try and make it seem like it wasn't us that did it, but the cult that attacked.
Put our enemies against each other.
Enemy of my enemy is fucked.
Yeah.
The enemy of my enemy is screwed as well.
So my hand is just covered in blood, and I'm just like using it to write it on the floor. When you drag them in, don't get it in this. And it
What's
just
this?
Enemies of the Fury, be worried, and then the symbol of the cult on the floor. And then I'll stabilize him on my next turn if I can for my action. Unless I can write as a bonus action, but if I need to wait,
that would probably take a fair little bit of time.
Yeah.
But you just smear this message across the wall and leave that like symbol upon it. And like looking back, you just begin to do this as Killian's pulling the body in. At the beginning of the 6th round,
Matilda does this with her bleeding hands. Her hands are just like covered in blood. She's like, ooh, looks good.
You guys hear a doorway open. Killian, what is your passive perception?
It's like 10.
Yeah. Matilda, are you close enough? Probably not. You guys hear the doorway open. You cannot discern its current location. Xiana, unconscious, looks on towards you guys. There's this ghost man who keeps appearing.
Yeah, I was wondering about
I was wondering if it was Mo, and I was going to be like, can Mo... Do you think at any point Mo would have come up here? Just knowing that I told him?
Not at current. Mo does not seem to be around. As far as you could tell, whether or not there's an invisible spider in your immediate vicinity. But as Xiana's unconscious, she utters a single word. Vincent, you have a high enough passive perception to potentially hear this. Jojo. Emir is there. So Vincent and Emir, go ahead and roll perception. She utters something under her breath. Emir moves in immediately and begins to listen in. You move in and begin to listen. She says, "Loveless." And then the breath leaves her body and she falls into just this constant and deep slumber.
Loveless?
Yeah. Emir says, "We need to fucking leave."
Yeah. He'll look over. Do you want me to cast invisibility on her? I'll just throw over Jojo's shoulder and let's get out of here.
Get out. Smash the back window. Let's get out of here.
Okay.
We don't
is
have
she
a minute.
referring to this one or the one in this room?
The one in that room over there. Emir moves over, pops it open, and actually, now, if the Goliath is dealt with, the doorway to the south opens, and you guys all begin to move. Emir moves forward, opens the door. Jojo, what do you do?
Jojo.
I'd point at her, tell her to pick her up. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I'll grab Xiana, pick her up. Is that my action? Could I free action? There was a ledger she threw on the ground, right?
Yes,
I
it's
pick
actually
that
pretty much right near where you are. So you scoop down, you grab that as well, throw it in your clothing, and grab onto Xiana, throw her over your shoulder.
And then I'll follow after. Emir.
Can Killian help me stabilize them? And I'll use guidance too.
That's 15.
I'm not proficient in medicine, so I'm not sure if I
Okay.
can help.
You can attempt to stabilize a creature with medicine if you're not proficient. You just can't help someone else do it.
Okay, well then never mind then.
But Matilda, you are proficient, yes?
Yes.
So you can give advantage to Killian.
Oh, okay.
I'll send a whisper message towards Matilda and Killian, just trying to stay quiet. We need to leave now.
Coming. All right, ready, Killian?
Yeah,
And
I
I'll give you
guess.
guidance. Get a D4, please.
All right, so I'm rolling medicine.
Yee.
Am I rolling with advantage?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, with Matilda's aid. Well, Matilda, you'd have to come out and go over to here. But
Oh,
let's
sorry,
start
yeah.
with it. I'm going to roll one more death save for the Goliath, just in case. Okay. With an 11. Begin to wrap the creature's, or the Goliath's wounds, and the bleeding seems to have been staunched for a time. You begin to pull the creature in. I keep saying the creature. We're all just creatures, guys. Let's be real.
I think if we're like cheesing it, she's good for like, she's just gonna like heal him, like try to medicine him, and then just leave.
Yeah, we're not
okay.
gonna pull him. We're just gonna do quick hallway medicine. Basically, Matilda just tells him to break the stick of the thing and to put gauze around the wound, which is what you do with those kind of wounds anyway. You don't try and take it out.
So interesting point of fact. As you give me that information, Killian like goes to start breaking the stick, and it just like disappears because it's an infusion ammunition. It's not an actual physical thing. So it's just like a magic arrow that stabbed him and then disappeared.
Okay,
Just like immediately, like a bunch of blood, just like.
Here's what I'm going to say. Killian, in this moment, you feel a primal urge. You look down towards this individual who sits at your mercy. And as you are healing their wounds, you feel something. You wonder if they really need to be saved at all. And that just nagging thought in the back of your head thinks, but wouldn't it be fun if they died here? Roll a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, nice.
You take that thought, feel a little bit bad about having it. You file that away. You finish wrapping up the Goliath, and as you take your steps into the bedroom and you guys begin to move across the pathway, you hear footsteps approach. What is this business?
I point to the glass wall for Jojo to like smash it. As she's doing that, looking down, because Vincent can see from here that they were trying to like, I guess, give the Goliath first aid. Is it were you guys trying to be stealthy with
Yeah,
it, or
my
is
hands
it
are
really
all-
obvious?
All bleedy and everything. Yeah.
Okay. And he'll look back towards Jojo. Hopefully we can smash this to get out.
You wouldn't have seen it because we were in the hallway, but I did tell you we'd be there in a sec.
We should
Yeah.
probably smash this window. We won't be jumping into the backyard and need to jump the fence then, right?
Amir moves over and says, Jojo, together.
Okay. Are we out of combat order? Or?
You heard someone round the corner, and seeing the body of the Goliath warrior down on the ground, just, what is this? And turned and began to ran
Sound
through
like
the
a
home.
noble.
Okay, yeah. Smash the window.
Go ahead and roll to hit.
I'll just target myself.
Just out of curiosity too, what was everyone wearing tonight? Was it just like your normal attire?
Yeah.
I don't wear well, I'm not wearing a dress because that's just not practical. Pom Pom would throw a fit if Matilda wore a dress to a reconnaissance mission.
So, yeah, I just wanted to know what you guys were.
It's only a 13.
Just some common clothing, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
My apron, stuff like that.
There's a 13 to hit.
A 13. You bring your hand back. Slams against the reinforced glass. You actually have advantage on that because Amir is currently helping you.
I'm wearing my I Love Lavos t-shirt. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, that was a natural one. So it was a 13.
Yeah, you bring the hatchet back, slam it against the side of the glass, and it just boom, resounds out in the basement or in the garden down below. The dog rushes over and looks up towards the top. There's...
I cast Firebolt at the window to make a hot spot to make it easier to crack the glass.
Okay, go ahead and make an attack roll.
Crack the window! Go, Matilda!
Yes.
27 to hit.
That hits.
Alright. Damage. 6 damage.
Bring your hand back. Hits the side of the window, and you can see the entire area just like spiderweb slightly as it just begins to crack. You see the entire area is that just slightest bit like weaker, as you can see just the glass begin to warp. But Firebolt, I don't think, can produce enough fire damage to heat glass.
No.
But it has weakened this one spot, and Jojo and Emir, you both look and see this. As Killian, do you remain in the room or do you run forward?
I'm going to be running forward for sure.
You make it into the balcony. The doorway's still open. You guys see this just faint bit of wind begin to pick up on the interior of the room. You can see like loose papers and notes begin to lift. Lights begin to flicker on the inside. This one like map flitters around and lands off in front as the wind continues to pick up. Jojo and Emir, you both get one more attack roll. Jojo, you can roll with advantage as Emir uses her body to attempt to tear into the side of this window.
Could Vincent aim a walloping arrow at the window as well? Try and help them along.
Absolutely. You can also make an attack roll with advantage.
18 to hit.
18 hits. Go ahead and roll damage.
It's not a... Oh, it'd be on a critical if it was the Enthian sword, but then it'd be a lot of noise, right? Just
Yes.
normal.
9. I don't know what is it. I don't know how
7.
sturdy it is. Does 9 hit the wall?
9, it flies forward, slams against the glass, but just doesn't manage to do any damage. Jojo, you slam against the glass, and it just spiderwebs. Literally looks like it's being held on by just the faintest pieces. But right now, as it's just all but shattered, you feel like you could breathe on it and it would fall apart.
I firebolted again.
You aim forward and you go to release that firebolt. However, as the wind picks up in full on the inside of the room, it settles. This faint blast pours out and you hear, well, well. Oh, Xiana, what have you gotten yourself into this time?
I shut the door.
You shut the door with one hand, go to firebolt with the other. Go ahead and roll the attack.
Just out of curiosity, so the roll to hit, if we don't meet a certain DC, we don't even hit it at all? Because I haven't even rolled
you hit
damage.
it. You hit it, it just doesn't do any damage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like you can't miss a glass wall. It's just that you need to hit it in a way that would cause it to be hurt.
13?
13 damage.
No, damage. That's the hit. Does 13 hit?
13 with its current spiderweb. That's a -2 for each time. 13 just hits. And with 7 damage, it shatters outwards from the interior. That dog begins to... As you also see the just druidic individual running forward, holding onto both a short bow in one hand and a staff in the other, so you're still not sure whether she's a druid or a ranger, and she looks up towards the area with confusion as the glass shatters outwards and begins to create this spectacle. You can hear movement within the home as you all look towards the hole, and Amir's just like jumping, turns, dives out, and just begins to cascade down the side of the wall. It is about 25 feet down. That's 2d6 of fall damage if you guys dive out.
Jojo jumps.
Jojo jumps. Killian.
Killian jumps out ahead of Jojo because she hadn't taken an action to break the window. She's just like
dive out. Jojo, you dive.
Before I head out, I cast false life on myself.
While running, you invigorate yourself with this facsimile of life, and you dive.
Could Vincent also cast a spell on himself?
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna cast Healing Word.
I'm just like,
As JoJo lands and fronts the falling damage with her rage, as soon as she hits, she drops her rage and then does some verbal and somatic components and shifts her form with a disguised self spell to look like a human pirate brute guy.
Just like this surly, aggressive, salty bastard appears before you all.
He's got like an eye patch and like a big beard.
Just holding on to Xiana's unconscious body over your shoulder, this pirate begins to stride forward. Vincent, you pass the minimum healing.
Yeah, so I'll heal myself and then I'll jump out last. And as I hit the ground, I'll take the damage. And he's gonna turn around and face the druid and the dog person, and just kind of send them a message being like, "We have intruders. Stand back. They're very powerful. I'm going after them." And just run.
Tricky. Roll deception with advantage. That's the number you want to see.
20.
wow.
You send this message. You just hear, yes, my lord. What happened? And then
He'll just keep running.
As
it
you-
requires magic to cast back to them.
as you cast this spell, you, like, just being the last one out, you hear the door begin to open slowly and confidently. You can stop to look, but you risk being seen. Do you stop to look or do you dive out?
He's disguised. I don't think.
If he would do it.
Would I have to fully stop and or would I?
The
it's just
doorway is
more like I
opening.
glance back.
The doorway's opening. You're kind of like at current, you are on the glass, ready to jump out, and as you put your foot up, you hear the door begin to open. If you turn around to look, you risk being seen, but you might see who it is who has entered into this room. That is basically what situation you find yourself in right now. What do you do?
Yeah, he'll do it because he's not technically in danger, but I don't care if they see him.
'Cause he's
Striding.
not him.
Striding forward, as the doorway opens, you see a very fine white glove with like 3 individual lines down the center of it, just fine filigree up to the fingertips, and like just this black garb that sits one half black, one half white with gold trim. Buttons of different sizes down the lapel, double-breasted. As they move, very svelte physique. This clothing so tight to them, but moves almost with a fluidity. And as they move forward, you see a white mask, virtually featureless, save for a dot on the left side and a half smile with nothing on the right. As they stop,
It's a
they turn
persona
their attention
character.
over towards you for a moment and just look at you with a slight cock of the head, and then you make your way out.
What's that?
I'm assuming that was Loveless.
You each take 6 points of fall damage. That's bludgeoning, so Jojo, if you're still raging, that's half to 3. And as you begin to make your escape, you hear the front door open, and a series of people from the outside rushing inwards, yelling, "Sirik!" You guys begin to move over around the side, and with the only 2 people kind of willing to chase you, the druid and the ranger and the dog, pulled back. And this individual moves up towards the glass on the second floor. Strange, almost jester-like in their appearance, just glancing out towards the glass, resting a head on 2 hands, literally resting his elbows on the broken glass, and just watching you all round the corner of the alleyway. And as you breach the side, and you begin to run, what do you guys do? At current, you have an unconscious Xiana over your shoulder, but you are outside of the general visibility of the manor itself.
What? Amir said that place in the Masters could also be like, it's a safe place to go.
I'd like to duck into a corner if we can find a safe place to hide for a minute so we can get her in that gem.
Roll survival. With Matilda's background, you have advantage on this.
17?
17. With Matilda's expertise in finding unknown crevices of the city, you duck into a back alley near some old, like wooden 2-story manors, and placing Xiana's body down, Emir pulls out the gem and places it down upon her body. Sitting and focusing, the gem glows for a brief moment and turns from this deep red to an almost transparent, like opaque. And then as Xiana just at once gets enveloped in this red light, she just disappears. The gem itself solidifies once again, showing just a faint outline of a humanoid figure as it ting 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 hits the ground. Emir grabs it. Okay,
Vincent's
let's get out of here.
Cast disguise self on him and just be like another generic human, but looking different than he was, different clothing and everything.
Act casual. Mia cracks her neck and pulls out another shawl, throws it over her head. She kind of like covers her face for a sec, turns away, and when she looks back, she's an elderly woman. She's like, all right, well, thank you for escorting me home.
Do you need a hide, like, when you do that, or?
I don't know what you're talking about. Young people these days have no manners. She makes her way to the edge of the alleyway.
Emir, please take us to your lovely abode.
Of course, I will.
Killian would like to just like be like, sorry, this is probably for the best, and just like climb up onto her back, onto Amir's back, and like hide under
be a hunch.
I'll just be a hunch. She is super bloodied, and a goblin running around will just.
Vincent will start up next to Matilda and like whip his cloak off and kind of change it into like more of a commoner's cloak, but like place it over and put it over her head.
Does
There you go,
anyone
dear.
have prestidigitation? As you see, like Matilda's just like hands are covered in blood. She just.
Vincent will quickly clean you off, and same with anyone else who has some dirt on them. We should go.
Moving through the city immediately. You find your way through the marble slates, passing by various different areas, passing by Ogma's own home, and going through the lanes of dawn into Mask's district. Relatively unhindered, people minding their own business this time of night, following through along the main thoroughfare in order to avoid the just absolutely stark raving mad layout of Mask's district. Following the pathway that Emir had previously given you, you move into a small area, finding a fountained courtyard. And behind a small cart covered in various different cheeses, she shuffles that aside, throws across a few rugs that are fashioned just over top, and moves general goods out of the way to find a trapdoor that she springs open. On the inside, you just hear, "Oi, Emir's back. What'd you get this time?" She's like, "I got a goblin and a tiefling and a few others." Looks back towards you and is like, "I fooled you. You're all dead now. I'm just kidding. Come on inside." And then she just begins, my back. And then you see the guy at the back just kick her in the ass, and she's like, "Fuck you. Ow." Stands and begins to move. Killian, you're like jostled slightly.
Yeah.
I feel like that's rewarded me more than it did.
Vincent will
didn't
turn
bother me at all.
towards the individuals here. Do you guys have any way to check to see if there's anyone following us?
Who's this guy? Oh, his name's I
Isaac.
think it's Jojo or something. She smiles and makes her way in. Isaac, yeah. Roll deception.
How long has it been since how long did it take us to get here?
Oh man, at least an hour.
Killian's arms are just burning from holding on to the back of Emir.
Jojo
You
would
just-
have burned another disguise self.
Okay. He nods and he says, "Sure it is, Isaac." And you guys begin to make your way down. You find a small tactical room, just set up a small table set in the center. A few just offshoot rooms with some cots set up, and just some various different barrels and crates set off to the side. Some of it popped open, and you could just see apples and some citrus fruits sitting off to the side. There's a large map of Amaranth sitting on the center, and various other different maps kind of strewn about. And you can see that there's about 6 daggers planted into the table itself in various different parts of the city on the map. As Emir makes her way forward and sits down at the table, she places the gem down and just begins to flick it.
You seem to know who that was in the end. Who's this Loveless?
Loveless is trouble. I think that's all we really need to know about for now.
Why does that name sound familiar?
Roll history.
I want to roll history too, please.
He's not a part of your family.
I don't think Matilda can roll history on this.
Only 9.
Okay, that's fair.
Only a 9? It is just ever so vaguely familiar, but you have no idea where from.
God, I hate that. Feels like it's on the tip of my tongue.
She looks back towards you, Vincent, and says, well, you all did very well. If we're on the bad side of Loveless, I guess it's important to know. None of you were seen, right?
That was one thing I wished to ask. You came over and you guys were covered in blood after the Goliath. Did you finish him off?
Yes, no.
Yeah. No.
Do I even need to insight check this?
No, because we did get end them in the sense that they couldn't go for help, and then we made it so that they wouldn't die outright. If they're really bad at first aid and they don't help them, then that's on them. So I did write a message on the wall though, which should hopefully deter.
What do you say?
So you killed the. So what I'm insinuating from this is you hurt them and then you stabilized them and then you came over.
Well, we hurt them. Right. Then I used their blood to write a message on the wall, and then we stabilized them.
Okay. Well, if that Goliath does, none of us was seen, and me and Amir were disguises. So if that Goliath lives, you 3 are pooped.
Well,
what was the message though?
She leans forward and looks towards you again. Vincent, having shuffled aside the conversation, she says, were you seen?
By him, but no one else.
He asked me to heal him, so I don't think he'll be a problem.
Excuse me? Our enemies asked you, the person who was wanting to assassinate me asked you to heal him, and you just thought that was okay?
He wasn't wanting to. What? She was the one who wanted to assassinate you, not him.
This is her, family, basically. The Goliath is the closest thing she has to that.
Now they owe us a favor.
She leans back and puts her head in her hands.
Vincent kind of does the same thing.
She just thinks.
Is there any way we can get someone in there to take care of him before he wakes up?
I mean, the last thing that he said before he thought he was gonna die was that he wanted to complete his mission. But that mission didn't involve us. It was trying to find his brother or something like that.
And kill his father.
And you just believed him?
I mean, he's a warrior. He's not exactly a good liar.
I know. It's just, there's no reason he would keep this information from the rest of the gods. He gains nothing from that. He would most likely tell them that at the minimum 2 humans, an orc, a goblin, and another small human girl were there.
I mean,
I think maybe for the least a little bit, maybe we shouldn't be seen together as a group. It's like generic goblin, sure, there's a lot of them. Generic human, but we're all seen in the same group together. I might raise some eyebrows.
that's fair.
Huh.
But we got her. Mission accomplished. No one told me that we had to salt the earth behind us.
No, I understand, Killian. I'm just worried that you three might have more of a death sentence out on your heads than I do now.
Maybe. I'm worried about both. The Goliath could be an issue. But, I don't like the fact that Lovelace was involved in this.
Who is he?
He used to be a nobody. He's just a fool for the king. Then he disappeared for a while. Tried to become a thief. Tried to join into a few different guilds in the city. Never really took. But eventually he came back. Different. Messed up.
From the dungeon?
I don't know, he left the city. As far as I know, he's not even bound.
Has Vincent heard any, lore rumors, either through his bond or, being a bard or just in general? People telling stories while we, cuddled together at night and stuff?
Ooh. I don't think so.
Okay.
Not from, the standard circles. All I know is that he's sick now. Different. It's kind of more of a ghost, more of a rumor now than he used to be. His original name was Syrian Pont. But now he just goes by Lovelace.
Well, I think he's another issue for another day. If he might just not take this job up.
He didn't see me. I shut the door.
That's good.
When I jumped out the window, I was the last one. As I was falling, I managed to catch his gaze, so he might have saw me a little bit, but I had my disguise up.
And we have a chance. Let's just hope he doesn't take interest. All right. Let's go on with this. Now, if this Goliath is here, maybe we shouldn't kill her.
Joe's gonna start
Goliath's
pouring through this
anger is a
ledger.
difficult thing. You pop open the ledger and you begin to look at it. It is, as far as you can tell, encrypted. It seems like nothing but gibberish.
Okay.
Well, we all knew the risks involved. This was going to be tricky regardless. The exit plan wasn't quite as I was hoping.
I was hoping to throw some subterfuge. I did write on the wall, enemies of the Fury be worried, and I wrote the cult symbol, so maybe they'll think that it was them.
They could. That might be decent. Thinking back on everything, the Furies don't know anything about us, right? We haven't done anything yet to alert them.
The Furies,
Let me know.
from the
Cult?
from what you understand, the Furies refers to the angelic deities themselves.
Yeah.
But referring to the cult as the Furies is one of the coolest things I've ever heard. As far as you know, then there's nothing really that has been overtly there. Morrigan herself has had some interaction and seems to have been known by the cult, but nothing really recently developed, no.
Okay. Sweet. Well, do we want to do this now or later? He points to the jewel. You said you didn't want to kill her. Why'd they change your heart?
If that Goliath is going to start chasing us down, it might be a good idea to just be like, no, we didn't kill her. No, she's alive and well.
Do you have somewhere to hold her? She's human, or half elf, I guess. She won't last in there for very long.
I could bring this up with my family. This place is temporary for sure. We can hold her for a while, but it's not somewhere we can keep her indefinitely.
Well, just maybe let them know you got yourself in some hot water and you need a little help.
What is it we want her to admit to? It's not. It's the Goldwater slave trade stuff?
I want to get her to admit to as much shit as possible, but this assassination is a big deal. Attempting to off another member of a different family comes bearing down straight on the gods themselves. That is a big taboo. It's not something you'd do.
You know, we
I'm pretty sure
mentioned
Umberly has to deal with these on a daily basis, considering who she is.
we mentioned to our keeper that someone came into the dungeon with us pretending to be a guide, and she seemed pretty worked up about that. Might want to pin that on her as well.
Sorry about that. We didn't know who you were at the
I'm
time.
not gonna apologize. You tried to kill it. Fuck you.
Oh,
How
it's,
could you?
it's the most insincere apology, Joe. Don't worry about it.
Thanks for
I always
letting me
feel
know.
obligated to be bows. I always feel obligated to apologize to different people. Makes them feel better.
Okay.
What's in their book? They had a book. I stole all their notes. So
Yeah, this ledger's encrypted, but if we decrypt it, then well, you know, money talks. I'm sure this will be very incriminating.
most encrypted things, or most of the things that are like this, are usually based off of language and patterns. So if we sit with it for a little while, we should probably be able to decode it really fast.
I hope it doesn't need a cipher.
That probably does, but ciphers are really easy to crack depending on. She seems okay, intelligence-wise, but not to our standards. So we'll be able to crack her.
She had a
pretty
lot of Assyrian stuff in her house and spoke Giant. I'm gonna start with Giant and see if that helps me decrypt it.
Go ahead and roll investigation. You do not have disadvantage on this roll.
quick. Can I help?
Do you speak Giant?
Oh no, never mind. Sorry.
Did you say I
in
have
this
advantage?
in this instance, you wouldn't be able to help.
Okay.
No, you just don't have disadvantage.
Okay. Come on, yes, 22.
Mm.
Pouring over it, it's like utilizing some of the giant runes that you know, which is, I mean,
Oh,
fluently. I mean, I probably don't know every word in the English language, but I got quite a few. But the giant runes are incredibly limited. Moving through the runes that you do know, like Ild, you're just pouring through and attempting to replace various different portions of this cipher. And as you like reading through it, takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and you're like, aha, Goldwater. You find one word that you recognize within the paper kind of mixed up in this cipher, and you're like, ah, okay. So the rune is, in fact, in Giant. However, that same rune does not apply to every word on this page. There seems to be some kind of a pattern. But as you begin to dig through it, you do manage to basically understand that, yes.
As she figures that out, she's just like, oh yeah, it's Giant. See, that says Goldwater. Yeah, I'll figure this out. Just give me a bit.
Okay. Why don't we, unless anyone else wants to join, because I know this is more on my side and Amir's, have a little interrogation with her, or do we think we should? I'll rest on this first.
I think we should let her stew for a bit while I crack this a little bit. Have as much ammo to throw at her.
Let's take a short break and then we'll reconvene. I still want to think about whether or not we're willing to kill her, because that makes a big difference in investigation or interrogation.
Vincent's going to send a message in directions and try and see if Mo's around. Maybe he chased after us.
Mo does not seem to be around. However, as you guys prepare for this, you see this one guy kind of at the back of the rooms, just like, right, yeah, I probably shouldn't be here. All right. Turns and just begins to make his way towards the entrance and climbs up the trap door. And he's like, good luck, Amir. Closes it behind him and begins to move all the shit back in the way.
Trustworthy, right? Someone can't just pay for this information.
He's good. I trust him.
They like you?
Okay.
I don't know, maybe. I'm not really in tune with that kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, it's been very tiring trying to, find someone like that. I'm so bad at reading people, and she just begins to just fuck around with you for a moment as we go on break. I think Emir and Vincent, you guys, there is no real privacy here. There's like 3 rooms off to the side, 2 of which are storage rooms, and 1 is just a very brief sleeping area. The one off to the side has like a very heavy looking wooden door with a slat on it. And as you pop it open, she just looks in to make sure there's no one else being held there. Empty. Gives a nod and looks around to everyone. It's just like, welcome home.
We don't have any. Do you have any food or drinks here? Or are we just going to sit here and stare at each other for an
She
hour?
goes around into the back, opens up a small wooden box, and pulls out just some oranges and tosses them to you.
This'll do.
Keep it up. Don't want you getting scurvy there, sailor. Now, are we gonna kill her? I
I'm not
actually vote.
opposed to it, but
We don't know if that Goliath is more of a liability, if we have her dead or alive. It's a gamble this time.
well, my only fear is there was nobility in that presence, and they might take this a little bit more personal than I would like. Which means well, not my face, but all of our faces are going to be pinned up on our board somewhere in the middle of the city very soon. Do you think the Goliath would come try and find us first, or do you think he would simply just rat it out at the beginning?
I don't know how acclimated he is to this city, especially having been with Xiana, who amounts to nobility. But Asari and Goliaths they're an honorable sort. But if they know anything about the politics of this city, he would give us in right away.
Well, I guess time will only tell for now. We can try and keep her alive, but I want more than a simple pinky promise in certain regards. If Mo gets back, we can put her under contract. Unless you want to keep her locked up somewhere, of course.
Well, we can always give her a few weeks to stew and see what she says. But we'll see how this investigation goes. I'm willing to kill her. It might not be a bad idea. Worst case scenario, I can just take her place.
This is true. At the very least, the only thing I want out of this is that she's no longer an asset to my grandfather. She can't go back to doing what she was doing before.
All right. Well, I'm ready to pop this gem. What about the rest of you?
I'm gonna crack this book.
I'm going to watch and take notes.
Stand in the darkest corner. She puts a lantern, takes a lantern, opens up the hood and places it off to the side so you're underlit from below as you stand in the corner just menacingly.
Gage, could we say we short rest first before we do it?
For sure, yeah, you guys can take the hour.
Oh, I do get a short rest and I get all my spell slots back.
Cool. And we'll roll some hit die.
Hooray for warlocks!
Vincent will do a song of rest as well. So if you used at least a hit die, you will gain an extra 5 on top of that.
Eh.
Killian goes up to Amir and says, "Do we have to take part in this?"
No, and if you're not very good at it, I would advise taking a step.
Okay. And she'll go, I guess, into the room that they had been in. Is that where people that aren't joining in are waiting?
Yeah, there's 3 small rooms and then the central room with a large table in the center. But as you shuffle off to the side and kind of close the door on one of the storage rooms, or the room with the cot where people sleep, basically, Amir sits back and holds the gemstone in her hand, places it on the table, and flips her dagger around, ready to break it.
Yeah, Vincent's back in his normal attire since it's been an hour, so he's just himself. He'll have taken the cloak of many fashions back and put it back on his shoulders. His normal suit set going right now. He'll simply just... Is there a table in the center?
Yeah.
When we bring her out, she'll be unconscious, right?
Yes.
Do you mind stripping all of her stuff, taking away her little staff cane thingy, making sure she doesn't have any magic items on her. And maybe tying her up.
Absolutely. She places the gem down, grabs the dagger, and just hits the top of it as it just shatters. You see the body just immediately reappear, just splayed out on the top of the table. The daggers that were just jammed into the table kind of just push out of the way and some clatter to the ground. She leans in and just begins to take off anything she sees that looks even remotely visibly magical, leaving her basically just in this white kind of undershirt and long undergarments. She's if you've seen Victorian undergarments, she's basically still wearing 4 layers of clothing. But as she just lays there kind of splayed on the table, Emir moves in and is like, do any of you have just proper magic healing?
Vincent puts his finger up.
All right. One sec. She takes some rope, places her
Not that
down on
I
the chair, ties her
I
up.
really want to waste it, but I understand the circumstance. He's also going to move the map and the daggers away from the table so she doesn't have access to them.
Yeah, for sure. Taking anything of potential danger out of the way, out of the situation, and placing that over into the storage room, closing that door as well. Emir takes one of the she closes one of the hidden lanterns, lights a few candles on the table, sets them up, and she begins to move Xiana while tied to the chair over to the other side of the room. And she's like, no way. As I pass by Vincent, hit her with that healing.
Oh, we're putting on an act, are we?
Begins moves, leans her back and begins to pull, so it just makes this long scraping sound. Vincent, you blast off a little bit of healing. How much do you heal her?
Jojo's in a different room doing the ledger, and she throws Killian. Well, she doesn't throw it. She hands it gently. The necklace that Xiana was doing the forest blast from. Hey, if you want to keep your hands busy with something, if you could identify that, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
I just wanted to interrupt before you guys got into it.
Totally good. Over the course of the hour as well that you took for a short rest, you could have identified that. It has 2 of 5 charges remaining. It is a consumable item, and it basically just creates a 5-foot blast of force that flings enemies off of you. 2d6 plus intelligence damage.
And consumable means that once those 2 charges are used, it's gone, right?
Then it is no longer magical. Creatures hit by the blast that fail a strength saving throw are knocked 15 feet away and knocked prone.
She regains 6 hit points.
As she is walking, the scraping from the chair, she just kind of slowly opens her eyes to look around. As Emir brings the chair forward, she can feel herself moving. She begins to struggle slightly, and Emir slams the chair against the back of the wall as she just her eyes adjusting to the dim light. She sees Matilda off in the corner, just barely lit by the candle light. This one candle behind Emir and Vincent just silhouetted the 2 of you.
He's sitting in a chair, just casually, legs crossed.
Emir leans forward and says, I'm just going to cut straight to the chase. I don't like to fuck around. You're going to tell us everything that you've been doing. I want to know everything about the Goldwaters. I want to know why you're fucking around with changeling trafficking. And I want to know why you tried to kill my little partner over here. Points towards you, Vincent. Anything to add there, Goldblood?
Oh. I think you summed it up well, but let's wait and see what she says.
Xiana basically begins to ignore Emir entirely, and then just spits out blood, which spatters down the side of the chair and just hits the ground. Her hands bound behind her, her legs tied to the bottom of the chair. She just looks around. This is kind of weak. Couldn't you do better? I surrendered, you know. Not very honorable. Amir's like, yeah, I don't do honor. Still ignores her. She looks towards you, Vincent. So, you must be Vincent. I guess I was right. I wish I could say it's lovely to meet you, but you are every bit as disgusting as I thought you'd be.
Well, I usually treat people a little better, but not those that don't want my head attached to my head, dear.
Why would you go to all this trouble?
Why would you go to your trouble of trying to get rid of me?
Because you are a blight. You're a scar on a beautiful, pristine body. You are everything that's wrong. With you out of the picture, I might just have a chance.
Can he insight check that? She want to get with his grandpa?
Roll insight.
Be a part of the family? Is that what she's insinuating here?
Could you let me know if I found out anything in the ledger with the short rest that we did? Would you need another investigation roll, or would my 22 from last time count?
There's a few going on. This ledger, as you can see, it's like a big book full of various different ciphers. It's not going to be something you can fully decipher in a short amount of time.
Okay.
Even just reading this through would probably take several days, but as you are looking at it, you can absolutely roll another investigation check to try and glean anything from it.
I help. I am proficient with investigation.
Do you speak? Do you understand Giant?
That would be a big no.
Here's what I will say. Given more time at another juncture, as this is quite a tense kind of situation right now, Jojo, with their proficiency in the language, would be able to guide you guys around and be like, here's the cipher for this page, try and decipher this one. But at current, it's just too much happening.
Okay. Sure.
All right. What was your investigation, Jojo?
You still want me to roll it? I thought.
Yes, please.
Just a 9. Just a 9.
With a 9, you continue looking through, but you're basically just trying to find runes that match ciphers.
Okay. Yeah,
no progress. And Vincent, she looks towards you with your insight check as just like almost the glimmer in her eye when she was talking about that. It seems like she wants to get with your grandfather. She looks no more than early 20s, but as a half-elf, you know that can be incredibly deceptive.
He just looks her up and down. Yeah. You should probably stay in your own fields.
Disgust me. You know nothing about love. You are a mess. She just leans back, and Emir's just like, I'm not a fan of being ignored. Takes her dagger and brings it up to Xiana's throat. She just leans back.
I'm assuming you'd like your head to stay on your body, wouldn't you, Xiana?
I already gave up. I don't know what else you want.
Information.
Ask your questions.
I look back up. Does she seem like she's just ignoring Emir and I need to ask them? Is that what I insight?
She's desperately trying to ignore Emir. Now she has a dagger to her throat, and you can tell that she's a little bit nervous by that. With your insight, your passive, you can just kind of discern that this scenario here does have her nervous, but she's pretty hard.
We have plenty of time. We can go back and forth with this, but if you wish to do it this way, I can ask the questions. A little give and take, dear. And he'll repeat the questions that Emir asked, seeing if she'll answer them for him.
Focusing on what's going on and just pissing off Emir by ignoring her completely. She says, I don't fucking know anything about changelings. I don't care either. Roll intimidation with advantage. 18. She leans forward. Emir brings that dagger up to her neck and draws a little bit of blood. And she's like, fuck it. I don't know. I actually don't know. We've been... the boats, the ones that have been moving through the quay. They're not moving changelings. What are they moving? She's like, Asarians. We smuggle them out and bring them into Aberranth for cheap labor. I don't fucking know who's been on the ship specifically. We give them to the Storm's End and their cheap labor. Frankly, I couldn't care less if there's changelings aboard, but those sons of bitches should have had to pay more. And stares towards Amir, who just punches her in the side of the head. She almost gets knocked out from that, and then takes a step back.
To just unsettle her throughout there, he's gonna try and send some messages out, to be like, he's ignoring her and just talking to someone else. Just looking for Mo, seeing if he shows up at any point.
You send messages out in various different directions, and you do connect into Mo. As you send this message, Xiana kind of smiles for a second, and she's like, oh, I remember. I called him. None of this matters anyway. I'm sure he'll be here any moment. And you hear just dum, 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 on the top as the trap door swings open, and she's like, that must be him now. Opens her eyes and looks towards you, and it's just like, I don't need to answer a goddamn thing. And down the stairs, slowly, descends the guy who you had seen before, holding a rat in his hand, and he's like, hey, this rat has a backpack and has a note saying it wanted in. Your message connects into Mo, who's just like, popping back and forth. He's like, tell this plebeian to unhand me. It was the guy who would let you in the first place.
Okay, I'll send him a message. Put him down, he's with us.
Drops the rat, and it kind of scurries over towards you and hops up and just kind of like leans in and looks over. Just you see Xiana's sitting there just like, all right. And just slowly begins to shrivel down as her confidence hits an all-time low.
He'll wave the other person away so they can leave. And then he'll look down. Mo, feel free to... It's hard to converse with you in this form.
Halfway through your statement, he's still standing there. And he's just like, oh, we got a fancy one, don't we? Hey, Mir, where'd you get this fucking guy? And then she's like, you can leave. And he's like, right, I will. And he turns and just begins to take a step away. He's just like, fucking wave me off, piece of shit. Closes the door behind him and ascends the ladder. Mo shifts back and just becomes this impish individual who then looks over towards the bound Xiana, just gives a toothy smile that glints with red in the light. What the fuck are you people?
Vincent will lean forward a little bit of shadow coming on him. I can be anything. Hold on a second. I can be anything people want me to be, but for you, I'll be your worst nightmare. Now, and he'll look towards Mo. You have the ability to form pacts, don't you?
Of course.
Can you do it on my behalf?
I can. This will need to be. It is tricky. She needs to agree, and she seems unwilling.
Vincent will look towards her and kind of like eyes up towards the mirror, so she like moves the dagger a little bit further in. I'm sure we can come to some form of agreement here.
Just slumps her head. Amir looks towards her and says, Umberly is going to be going down. I imagine Joaquin will be a short distance. See, she looks over towards her with just a look of disdain and confusion. She's like, you think you can bring down the queen?
Maybe, but I'd rather have her join me eventually.
You got some fucking nerve.
Just
Good gods. She leans back. Amir brings the blade up again and says, listen, I don't want to kill you. I did want to kill you. I really did. But things have changed. So now, you're somewhat valuable alive. But don't get me wrong. I will fucking kill you. So, try and answer our questions. We are going to have you publicly say what you have done. You will pay for this, but you will live. Or, and then she begins to shift, and you see the bones in her face begin to like creak and crack, almost as though breaking. The complexion of her skin grows translucent, and you can see her veins for a moment. You can see just the blood traveling through, and her eyes shift, almost like tearing open, and the sinew begins to reconnect itself as eventually her face just becomes that of Xiana's. Her hair grows ever so slightly and is no longer asymmetrical. It just kind of evens out, turns blonde, and she smiles as she assumes Xiana's form, and she just leans back. Fucking monsters. Amir leans in and says, "You got that right. You're gonna tell us everything we want to know, or I will just tell everyone everything else." And smiles. Spits in Amir's face and looks towards you, Vincent, and says, "You should have just died."
Well, we all want things, dear. Just so happens I have the means to achieve them. And you, he was not really into your type. Such a disappointment.
Just rage seethes through her face. Do you have any particular questions for this individual?
Vincent doesn't necessarily, maybe, because I don't think she, like, to the death, she seems in love with her grandfather, at least what he could insight. She probably wouldn't give up any information regarding him, which is all he would be interested in. But the pact is more so he wants to make sure that she is no longer an asset to him. She can't do anything to associate herself with him in the future. And she needs to basically step down from her position and no longer be a part of the business.
As soon as you say this, she says, "I refuse, just kill me." Amir looks back towards you and is like, "It's not a bad idea." Gotta say, I agree with her on this one.
With the kinds of things, with these kinds of deals, it's always better when they're alive, because then they get to suffer the consequences of their actions. So if she's not willing to talk to your grandfather, we can just make it seem like she's been working with you, and your grandfather doesn't like you very much. So just knowing the fact that she is working with you and is your associate should be enough for him not to want to associate with her anymore. And that should be very easy to fabricate fake documents to do so.
I wouldn't.
Amir, dear, you wouldn't mind burning some bridges, would you?
Not as long as she's on them.
If you're stuck down here and she pretends to be you, she can go talk to Vince's grandfather and confess all of this, and then you'll never be in his good graces again. How unfortunate for you.
You can join us. Isn't it lovely being a little stain in the gold?
What do you want? What is it that you want? What do you want?
I already told you, dear. You just got yourself wound up with an individual. You just need to no longer be with them, and you can continue living your life. It's not in that direction anymore.
She slumps back and she continues thinking, her eyes just scanning for every possibility around her. Fuck. Fine. I can fix this. I can fix this. I can fix this. And she just continually chants that.
You really can't. You really...
Sorry, why she's doing that?
Roll insight.
Sorry, you can go ahead. Tamara.
I find it very interesting when Matilda steps out of the shadows out from the light and walks ever so closely, like getting really close to her. You say that we're monsters, but I always wonder, people that are so quick to call it others. I really just think you can't stand to look at yourself in the mirror. Because you know what a real monster looks like. And it's not one of us.
Just stares at you in silence. Drawing from everything that's happened recently, she says, I've seen you before. Up close. You remind me of someone.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, I get that a lot.
Can
Brown-haired human.
Yeah.
Vincent subtle spell detect thoughts?
Go ahead. Oh, you cast the spell. Is there a material
There is a
component?
material component. It's just a coin. He has one on him. Could he just like take it out and on his side, like he's sitting at a table, just like fiddle with the coin in his lap?
Matilda's like uncomfortably close. Like she got like way up in her biz.
That's how I pictured it. I just want to see
Yeah.
whether or not Detect Thoughts is a wizard spell. It is a wizard spell. I'm going to roll Arcana for her to see if she recognizes the spell.
I roll deception.
You may. She does not seem to have in any way taken notice.
Cool.
You see, what's running through her head is just, I cannot get rid of everything that I have built with Castile. I will have him. He will be mine. How am I going to get out of this?
Is there nothing in regards to Matilda?
Looking at Matilda, her thoughts seem relatively placed upon her own kind of thought process surrounding Castile, as she looks at Matilda and thinks about, like, you know, I've seen you somewhere before. She's running her head off for a bunch of noble houses, and she's trying to figure out where it was that she's seen, like, your particular body, like your entire look before. You seem very familiar to her, and she's just moving through different, like, these traders, no, these merchants, no, these nobles of Helianth, no. And then she gets stuck on Helianth for a second, and then her thoughts faintly travel over to, like, trade, and then bounces back to, like, just this scattered, terrified kind of mix. Although in her face, she's not showing this terror at all. You guys definitely have her roped into a corner. But as Mo stands and says, I'm about ready to cast the spell. If you value life, you will agree. And he begins to move forward, attempting to be intimidating. And as you all begin to enclose upon her, that is where we will end today's session.
Ooh.
Xiana held in wraps, but the mystery of this unconscious Goliath laying in the background, loveless, lingering as some kind of strange plot thread that appears before the lot of you, and this just overpowering weight of obsession between Xiana and Vincent's grandfather Castile lies in the wind as we end today's session. And we come across new stories in the future.
What?
Thank you all for coming, and until next time, bye everybody.
Yeah.